welcome to another meeting of the Afterschool Anime Club. My name is Max Newland. I'm your host and one of the chapter co-presidents of this illustrious organization. And with me today, as always, are two of my co-hosts. She is the mysterious warrior of the moon, and her name is Stevie Matos. Hello.
Hi. Did you know what's crazy is that I am a Cancer moon.
Oh,
this will make sense in a second.
Hey, so am I.
Yeah.
Same hat. Same astrological hat.
Whee.
He shows up at the end of every episode to do something. It's Max Kostrak.
Hey, hello. I don't know my association with the moon, I'm afraid. My relationship with the moon, I would assume, based on you all knowing that off the top of your head, my relationship with the moon is pretty strained, huh?
Yeah, you got to get right with the moon, bud.
No, that just means you don't have the CoStar app on your phone.
Yeah, we're doing birth charts here today on Afterschool. We're pivoting to become an astrology
I know I'm
divination.
a Leo. I can say that much. That's important.
What time were you born?
I don't remember. I was barely there.
Wait, no, moon I think is where you were born, and then I think ascendant is what time. Ooh, I shouldn't have said this when it was being recorded.
We're going to get emails.
We're going to get slammed.
Actually, I don't think I've ever shared our email address, so now you've just made
It's
it.
okay. You can just at me. It's at Max_attacks. Tell me all about horoscopes.
If you're listening to this episode and you're thinking, why are they talking about horoscopes? It's because we watched a real classic, not like a.
Feels like you're stalling.
I'm not. Who, me? What would I stall for?
What did we watch?
We watched a real classic.
We've all got our notes.
Oh God.
We've called the things that we've watched classics, and we've kind of been stretching the meaning of that word. Like Outlaw Star is cool. Tenchi Muyo was a tone setter. Sailor Moon, though. Ooh. I think everyone on planet Earth knows what Sailor Moon is, probably.
Oh yeah.
It's right up there with Dragon Ball Z. I mean, it's. I feel like those two are brothers or sisters.
They were the first. I feel like they were the original. Like there were three factions when we were in middle school. It was Christina or Britney, NSYNC or Backstreet, and Dragon Ball Z or Sailor Moon.
We didn't even know about Naruto yet over here.
No, Naruto wasn't a thing when we were a kid. Nah, they wasn't on TV when we were kids. Right? No.
No, I don't think so. Probably not.
No, I don't think it was. No.
Well, and since we're starting a new show this episode of Afterschool Anime Club, I'm bringing back a tradition, which is that whenever we start a new show, I like to begin with a little game that we call No Need for Trivia.
Yes.
Nice.
This is a good way to start out a new show. We get to learn something and make it appear as though we're knowledgeable and can speak as experts on this anime.
And as usual, I've never studied.
I've got a little bit of a head start here because I was sitting next to my girlfriend Rachel, and we were watching this, and she's always been a big Sailor Moon fan, so I got some extra little trivia bits along the way.
Oh, cool.
Let's see if they match up.
Ooh.
And just for the edification of the audience, because I realized I've never mentioned this on the show, the music you're hearing comes from Sailor Moon. And in fact, every time we play a game, I'm always playing some tunes from the anime of the week. So if you're listening to the show and thinking, wow, this is good music, you should go look up the OST for Sailor Moon, because it is pretty darn good.
Some funky beats on there.
Funky beats.
It slaps.
I really enjoyed making the game collaborative, so I think I want to do that again.
Yeah, because I really, Newland, we've always been at least a little bit antagonistic. Like, I'd say we're always about 2 minutes away from a fist fight.
Yeah.
Probably the reason why we moved cross-country, just to prevent the constant fisticuffs.
Yeah, it was really, it was so chaotic. But you guys, you guys make a great team, I think. And this fulfills my need to antagonize the two of you without embarrassing you on social media. So this is it.
How do we win?
How do you win? You win by getting more points. And every time you get an answer wrong, I get a point. That's the
that's the new rule now, is that every time that we get it wrong, you get a point. How many points do you have now, Newland? Because that would mean
that's
a
it.
lot of
I'm
points.
getting out a post-it note.
A good amount.
One of us should probably track this.
Okay, so I picked some trivia questions about Sailor Moon. There's a lot of really interesting stuff about Sailor Moon. So let's just go ahead and get started. Here's question 1. When Sailor Moon debuted in North America, it was originally canceled after less than a year because of low ratings. 2 years later in 97, it was revived thanks to a fan campaign and a sponsorship deal with an American cereal company. What cereal company saved Sailor Moon?
What?
Whoa, I didn't know that.
This sounds too weird to be true, but it is true.
Wow, that's cool. I don't know.
That is incredibly cool, but I also don't know. Should we go for... I feel like the last game taught us Family Feud style that we have to go with popular, more obvious answers. And I feel like let's just go Kellogg's, right? That covers a lot of bases, a lot of different cereals. I'm
going to interrupt you to say that I believe the company that you were talking about is actually a subsidiary of the company that is the correct answer to this.
Then
General Mills?
Do I want to say General Mills then?
That's correct. General Mills saved Sailor Moon in 1997.
Yes! I am dope.
This is credited as one of the very first times a fan campaign got a show uncanceled in any genre, not just animation.
And it was anime.
And it was anime.
Cool.
And here's the thing. This was canceled for low ratings. They were playing this shit at like 5 a.m. on a school day. So like, of course it had...
nobody was watching it, right?
Yeah. So that is how I got my first glimpse of Sailor Moon, was like waking up way early for school and seeing this, literally seeing this first episode on TV. It was the sequence where the lady transforms into a monster, and it scared me because I was 7.
No.
Okay. Question 2. Many characters' names and genders were changed for the DIC dub, including the main character. The main character, Usagi Tsukino, had a totally different name until the later dubs of the 2010s were released. What was Usagi's name in the original DiC dub?
Ding, ding, ding. It's Serena.
Serena.
That's correct. It was Serena. I don't have her last name on hand, but yeah, they changed almost everybody's name. They even changed when a character was gay in the show, because there are like canon gay characters in Sailor Moon. That's not a secret. Yes. They would actually change the gender for many of them.
Yeah. I definitely feel like we're going to talk about this as we get deeper in, because there is some, I don't know
some
how far, big changes.
That's the one thing I do know. I do know about 2 of the Sailor Scouts.
Yes.
But I don't know when we get introduced to those Sailor Scouts. I'm not trying to spoil, but I feel like that's just like internet.
Everyone
canon.
knows this.
Like everybody knows.
It's like saying that Aerith dies in Final Fantasy VII. We all know.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So what is it? It's Uranus and who else?
I think it's Neptune. I'm not certain though.
Neptune's the blue-haired one, right? Isn't she the one with the bubbles?
we might have to wait to get definitive about this.
I honestly have no idea, having not watched the show. I will say I know that in the dub, they were, when this was censored, they were played up as cousins rather than lovers.
Oh, they were cousins? I thought they were sisters. I did know that. I know
they made it weirder.
The few episodes I caught when I was a kid that they were related somehow. They made that they were related in the old dubs. I know it was cousins. That's even as Kentuckians. That's not any better. Like,
not great.
No, I'm like, kissing cousins.
None of this is good.
Kissing cousins doesn't change anything.
Now, I did read that the interesting thing here is that by changing some of the gay men's genders in the dub, what they accidentally did was create a lot of like a huge variety in character designs for the female characters. So they accidentally gave people reason to think that there might be canon trans characters in the show as well.
Whoops.
So it kind of backfired on them.
Right.
Take that.
Sailor Moon says gay rights. Sailor Moon says trans rights.
Sailor Moon does say gay rights and trans rights, though. Like that. Let's be clear about that.
It does.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, like real talk. Like, yeah, it does.
Okay. Question 3. The DiC-led Canadian dub of Sailor Moon, that's the dub we're talking about. It was created in Canada. Was specifically crafted to capitalize on the popularity of another heavily Bowdlerized show imported from Japan. What was the North American name of that series? I will say, this is not a cartoon.
Is it Power Rangers?
That's correct.
Yeah, I was like, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Because it's the same format. Makes a lot of sense.
They saw Power Rangers popping off, and they said, we can do this with a cartoon. It'll probably be easier because we don't have to film anything.
Wow.
I was thinking, what other non-cartoon show involves transformations?
Yeah, it's literally Power Rangers. At that time, it's literally Power Rangers, for sure. Like, You know what? And that's crazy, because I was like, Queen Beryl reminds me a lot of what's-her-face?
Rita Repulsa. 100%. That is also the other connection I made.
Okay, we're getting more into the TV of the time, the TV environment that this happened in. So,
Okay.
The Sailor Moon was the third anime series to be featured in Cartoon Network's Toonami block, debuting there on June 1, 1998. Can you name either of the only other anime that were running on Toonami at this time?
We just had this question like 2 episodes ago. That were running on Toonami at that time.
Wait, anime? Are we talking about Japanese?
Yes,
or are we talking about regular cartoons? We're talking about anime.
You did the regular cartoons. That was Johnny Quest and such.
Yeah, I was Johnny Quest and stuff.
Anime.
Cast your mind
can I say
back.
Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing?
You're a little early, unfortunately.
Really? Wow.
Those would have been my guesses too.
Yeah.
The 2 other anime that were running were Voltron and the Frankenstein monster that was Robotech.
Oh, I didn't watch
Early
Robotech,
anime.
but that's super early. I did remember Voltron though. That's right.
I think Voltron may have been the first anime I got really into as a child. Like I didn't even realize it was anime.
We're gonna do Voltron here, aren't we?
Yeah,
Probably.
Voltron's old enough. We gotta do the old Voltron.
I've never watched Voltron.
Netflix rebooted it, but they did a whole new like.
That
Voltron
was a very Western take on it.
Yeah, that's super Western. So we gotta find the old one. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're getting into some specific Sailor Moon history with question 5.
Okay.
The mangaka who created Sailor Moon, Naoko Takeuchi, eventually went on to establish her own anime production studio so she could control the production of Sailor Moon. What was this studio's name?
I do not know.
This one is probably a little hard. This is a little more difficult.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is tough because I only know of a few studios, and I'm assuming it's not one of the big ones that like grew out of Sailor Moon. I feel like I would have known that.
It's not the one. It's not the one that shows at the top of like the thing with the cat with the hat, is it?
No, that's Toei.
It's Toei. Yeah, I was like, it's not Toei, right? Okay.
No, it is not Toei. The studio was called PNP, also known as Princess Naoko's Planning.
That's cute.
That's very cute. I never ever would have guessed that.
No, I didn't know that at all.
That's very cute.
That's cool.
Now, PNP went on to produce, this is question 6, PNP went on to also produce anime created by Takeuchi's husband, another artist whose series would become smash hits in both Japan and America. Can you name either of his most prominent anime?
Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter.
Dang,
I know this.
wow.
Yep, that's correct.
Wheel snipe Selly, boys.
Thank you, Rachel.
Woo!
Shout out to Togashi, who is dealing with some really bad repetitive motion injuries right now, apparently.
Oh
no. And I just heard the news about Hunter x Hunter coming back.
Yeah, that's a pretty darn good show. It's a little late for Afterschool Anime Club, but it's a darn good TV show. And Yu Yu Hakusho is one we might well cover.
I do like Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu
I do
Hakusho
think
is sick.
I've never seen it, and I would very much like to, on this podcast, see it and talk about it.
It's some Scooby-Doo ass shit, except there's no dog. It's great.
And there's no dog, there's just a baby who is the king of hell.
Not
great
too far
job
from Dragon Ball Z there, actually.
No, it's
Yeah,
actually
pretty
not. Great job, you two. I think you beat me this time.
We did. It was 4-2.
Boom.
So that means I have to wear the dunce cap for the rest of the episode.
Haha.
This is me putting
And
it
we'll
on.
all trust that you're wearing it.
Yes.
All right. So, you know what happens next.
Tell us what happened.
You gonna give us a synopsis?
I'm going to give you a little summary. We watched the first 2 episodes of Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon, and this is what happened.
Oh, I love this part because I get to sit back in my chair. Sorry.
You guys get to take a little break.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 1 opens as so many stories do, with our heroine waking up late for school. On her way there, Usagi Tsukino happens upon some kids bullying a cat. At school, Usagi gets an unfavorable test results back and gossips about the school uniform vigilante Sailor V. Elsewhere, on a mission from the evil Queen Beryl and her lieutenant Jadeite, the monster Morga causes a feeding frenzy at the jewelry store with massive discounts. Back at home, Usagi reveals her disappointing test results to her family's chagrin. As Usagi naps, the cat Luna returns to bestow upon her a gift and drop some knowledge. Usagi is one of the moon's chosen guardians. She recites the magic words, and we're treated to the first of many transformation sequences. Back at the jewelry store, the evil Morga reveals her true form, and Sailor Moon arrives just in time to save her friend. Morga commands her customers to attack, and when it looks like all is lost, the heroic Tuxedo Mask arrives to, save her? Kind of? At Luna's urging, Usagi destroys the evil Morga with her moon tiara, and the spell is broken. Episode 2 centers around a divination craze sweeping the city. Usagi oversleeps again despite Luna's best effort and almost sneaks into class successfully, no thanks to her classmate Umino. In the throes of a powerful crush, Umino goes to the House of Fortunes to see if his love for Usagi is meant to be. Speaking of Usagi, she gets a divination too, one that leads her to believe that her handsome classmate Motoki has romantic intentions. A chance meeting with the smug guy from earlier puts her off her plans to visit the House of Fortunes, and it's a good thing too because something fishy's going on there. The next day, Umino shows up with a whole new persona, flaunting school rules and sexually harassing their teacher. It's not just him though. The other students also appear to be under the fortune teller's evil influence. Usagi puts it together quickly and heads off with Luna to confront the evil at its source. The schoolboys, under the spell, force her into a corner, but Tuxedo Mask's Rose breaks the monster bomb's concentration and stops them in their tracks. Once more, Serena's moon tiara saves the day, and with Bomb dead, the boys are returned to normal. So a pretty formulaic TV show, already getting established.
I was going to say, these first 2 episodes are basically the same in terms of the villain, the combat, and the resolution.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really similar, right? Like, okay, here's a problem in town. Bad guy villain wants to steal humans' energy. Yep. Usagi shows up and transforms. Tuxedo Mask steps in and he's there. And then Usagi throws her tiara and the enemy turns to dust. Then the dust disappears.
Yes. Yeah, the dust just blinks out of existence, which I found really funny.
Interesting.
My favorite thing about part of like the bad guys making their plot is that there's ominous jazz music in both of these episodes, and like I didn't know that jazz music could be ominous, and I know that it's just playing music in a specific key, but I just was like, why is this jazz music so ominous?
Well, here's something interesting, and I mentioned this to you all before we started recording, but I must hang my head in shame because I violated one of our show's prime directives, which is to watch the original dubs in their tarnished glory. Unfortunately, it's very hard to find, or at least I believed until a few moments ago that it's pretty hard to find the original Deke dub. So I downloaded the 2015 redub, which has a little bit more respect for the source material and doesn't change everybody's names and genders and all that kind of stuff. But one of the other things that the Deke dub did is it scrubbed all the music except for the main theme and the transformation music. So this is actually kind of similar to the treatment that Dragon Ball Z got. Dragon Ball Z's original score, and to this day, has been replaced. Like even in the stuff that came out in Dragon Ball Z in like the 2010s, they were using the music by a guy called Bruce Faulconer instead of the original music. And that's what happened here. So this music that we're listening to is the original music that went with the show, that was written for the show. But viewers in 95 would have been listening to a totally different soundtrack.
Hey, I got to go back for a second, Max, and I'm sorry. This is a moment of me being uninformed. I always thought it was Dick. Is it Deke?
I believe it's Deke, yeah.
That makes more sense that the children's animation giant would be called Dick.
But old times were crazy. I say this often.
Language evolves and changes. Okay, sorry, just had to hit point for a moment.
I appreciate that. That was great. Oh my gosh. So one thing I learned, because I've never seen Sailor Moon at all. So all I know is from what I've ever caught coming home from school, which was the title, which is the title music. So I do know the song and the transformation song, which I think is also like the what is it, like the commercial break kind of animation song, the Sailor Moon. I know that. So I didn't expect to be read to filth by the main character, Usagi. So I was sitting down watching this with my partner. And every time Usagi would do something that was essentially me, he'd just look at me and go...
You're seeing a little bit of yourself in Usagi.
Oh, he'd just look at me and go, hey, didn't you just do that this morning? And I just go,
This is the perfect transition, Stevie, to talk about Usagi as a character.
Oh yeah,
because this is exactly what I was thinking the whole time. I was just pointing at the screen, going mood, same. Oh, that's me. Like this is one of the most relatable anime protagonists I've ever seen. Bad at school, sleeping in, loves food. These are all the trademarks.
Am I just a 14-year-old who pays bills? Because if so, I want off this ride.
That's what we all are, Stevie. This is what growing up is.
I have never evolved past 14-year-old me. So good to know. Good to know. This is also why I said she's me, because she's a Cancer, and I am a Cancer moon. Don't know what my blood type is, but she is. It's too relatable.
She's even bad at video games. So, like, she's really reading all of us.
See, here's the thing. No, I'm actually quite good at video games. I'm very good at video games.
But she does play them, which I think is important.
True. Yeah.
Usagi was created, I think, interestingly enough, she is not the character that Takeuchi based on herself. We'll be meeting that character a little bit later. So Usagi was kind of created to be this appealing, very very relatable character, even though it wasn't who the author saw in herself, which I think is kind of interesting.
And to speak historically for a moment, Usagi isn't even the original main character of this setting.
Oh, really?
Because before Sailor Moon, there was simply Sailor Venus. The original comic, the original manga that was written was, I think it was like a 2-volume thing that was focused around Sailor Venus. Oh. And only when it got picked up for a full series did that shift and become about Sailor Moon. That's why Sailor V is already established at the beginning as a reference to that.
Oh,
cool.
I wondered that. Okay, cool. Dope.
So yeah, Sailor V exists in this world, and they already have this legend, and like there's rumors about her being like a cop of some kind, or like working
with the special police force.
Yeah, special police force. Yeah.
And there's even like a Sailor V video game. She's like very popular, I guess.
Yeah, which I really love.
And which is also funny because Usagi, there's a moment for her as a character where she stops and looks at a poster of Sailor V, is like, oh, if only my life was like that, that's all I had to worry about. And then later that day, basically gets invited to become that, and she's like, whoa, this is a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, she's like, hold on a second.
The first thing she does when she becomes essentially Sailor Moon, she cries.
There's a lot of crying.
I love this. I didn't know this about, like, I wouldn't, if you had asked me to make assumptions about the main character of Sailor Moon, I would not have assumed very emotionally fragile as like a major character point.
That was the thing when she was in her first fight and she just starts crying and Luna's like, stop crying and throw your tiara. I was like, first of all, Luna, you are a terrible coach. You could have at least you could have given somebody at least like the quick start guide to like their new uniform or something.
Yeah, here's all your superpowers. Here's a guide. Here's a book.
You let Usagi walk in there having no idea what any of this was. Like, you transform once, that seems fine.
You give her a brooch and then you're like, say these words, and then you're like, cool, you get it, right? It's like, no.
All right, that's all you need.
You gave me a pin.
Just don't forget, it's Moon Prism Power Makeup. I looked this up. I had to know, how did they translate this? Like, maybe this is just a weird localization thing. No, it's just Moon Prism Power Makeup in all loan words. Like, they really just say it in English.
I'm curious since we didn't watch the original 1995 dub, I'm curious what they do with that. I
don't remember makeup. I remember, I think of the girls around me who like loved Sailor Moon, and they would only just yell Moon Prism Power.
That would make more sense.
Makeup was never, like, I don't remember any girl running around on the playground being Sailor Moon yelling Moon Prism Power makeup.
Was this the first transformation sequence that we've watched in an anime on this show?
Yes.
On this show, for sure.
Yes.
My question is this the first, or is this like the popularizing one? I don't know if any of us have the answer to that.
Yeah, I'm curious about that, because if it was the first, this is like a huge moment in anime history. Because this
I think
is like,
either way, it's a huge moment in terms of bringing it into the zeitgeist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And if I'm being honest with myself, it's cool, I think.
No, it's dope as fuck. No, it's so cool. No, I love it.
I wish this happened when I put on my clothes every day.
I mean, like, the note that I had for that was, bruh, the animation lock, because I play MMOs. But I was like, I get it. Like, I love this stuff. I also wish this happened when not only do I wish that gloves would magically appear on my hands, but I also would come out of it with a manicure every time, a fresh mani, because that does happen in that animation. I'm like, oh, man.
And it is
That's
also
wild.
like the highest quality animation in any given episode is this sequence.
Because they were well aware it was going to be used hundreds of times.
Happens every episode.
Same with actually the moment where I believe it's Jadeite holds out his hand and collects the energy, and his eyes appear in the darkness.
Yeah.
They also reuse that in both episodes.
That's where ominous jazz music starts.
Yes.
It's always in that moment. Always in that moment. So we've got Queen Beryl and we've got Jadeite. So we've got rocks versus planets, I guess. Is that the basketball game we're playing here? Rocks versus planets?
I suppose so. I mean,
I guess so.
We don't know that much about Queen Beryl yet, except that she wants human energy for her master.
Yes.
As a replacement, and to be fair here, human energy is the like backup choice. I guess we'll use human energy because we can't find the legendary silver crystal.
Yeah, silver crystal, which I'm like, that feels like an oxymoron, but go off. The periodic table doesn't agree with that, but live your life, I guess. I don't mean to find plot holes, but my brain goes, I know too much, so this doesn't make any sense.
You know, we got talking cats, we got magical clothes.
Oh, absolutely.
Changes,
oh my God. Luna.
Oh, Luna, let's talk about this cat.
The Band-Aid.
Yeah, all it takes to suppress the cat's psychic powers is a Band-Aid over her little bald spot. That's it.
You know what it made me want to do? After she was like, oh, they put that Band-Aid over my symbol, and I couldn't talk, and I couldn't connect to the moon, and my brain went, where is Taliesin, who is essentially my cat? He's not my cat, he's my partner's cat, but that cat essentially sits on me all the time. And I was like, so is this where I cheese of truth the cat, and then the cat can't communicate with me? I'm gonna cheese the cat.
I think one of my favorite moments of this first episode is when Luna is essentially like, let me, like, time for the exposition, let me turn you into a magical girl, and Usagi pretends to be asleep. It is very, like, pretend you asleep. I mean, just, like, absolutely.
Yeah. That's how you get out of problems.
My also favorite is when Luna's like, do this, and she's like, okay, I don't understand anything that you just told me. Like, that's her all the time. She's like, I'll do it, but I don't understand anything.
A fantastic anime protagonist, just really top notch.
She's not going to learn. She doesn't want to, and she refuses.
I do think it is neat that, like, the title of the first episode is Crybaby Usagi. I forget the rest of it. I usually say the names of the titles, but the titles are so long that I didn't want to stretch the summary out. So like we're establishing that this is like a big part of her character, and I think it is kind of interesting how it ends up being useful for her.
It's
in both episodes. Yeah. Her emotionalness is not like, it's something that she sees as a weakness, but that she's able to turn into a strength. which I think is cool.
I'm starting to see why this show is so appealing and awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Like, it's such a fun time. Yeah, because I noticed when she transforms into Sailor Moon, I wrote, her buns are super ears. What the fuck? Because she can, like, hear everything with it, but then when she cries in that first episode, like, it amplifies her cries, and, like, it, like, hurts all the people.
This is also a little bit of insight I got from Rachel, which is like her hearing through the gem or her bun or whatever was going on there. This is one of in the first season of this show of a handful of powers that are brought up one time and never ever show up again.
The Superman
just
thing.
Absolutely. Perfect. The author saying, I'm just playing around till I find what works.
Yeah, we know that the tiara is gonna stay.
Yeah.
The tiara got a whole.
We already made the animation for it, right. And we got to use it every episode.
Got to use it all the time.
Moon tiara action.
Yes.
We can revisit that in season 2 if you want, but season 1, that thing, we spent a lot of money, so we're gonna have to use it.
I know eventually she gets a wand.
Yeah, I do know that.
That's a big thing. But for now, it's just hat throwing.
We just gonna throw. We got a frisbee on our face. We're gonna throw it.
Just a very fancy odd job.
Yes. The original Peaky Blinder.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Goodbye.
So in
leave now.
So in the live action reboot, we got to get Crispin Glover. Wait, no, that's not Crispin Glover. What's that motherfucker's name? What's that white boy's name? You know who I'm talking about. Cillian Murphy. Why did I fucking confuse Crispin Glover and Cillian Murphy?
I don't know.
God.
We got to dive deep to find those wires.
Yeah.
And that intersection.
Yeah, we're going to have Cillian Murphy playing Tuxedo Mask in the... somebody has done this, I'm sure. There's someone out there who has done like a Tumblr fan cam of Tuxedo Mask where they cast him as Cillian Murphy.
Oh,
okay, can we talk about the familiarity that Tuxedo Mask as his Clark Kent persona has with Usagi? Like, he just calls her Butthead all of the time. And I'm like, there's no establishing relationship.
You guys know each other?
Like,
you guys friends? What's going on here?
Wait,
despite all the exposition in the show, they don't explain that relationship at all. Wait,
are you all telling me that Mamoru is Tuxedo Mask?
Not swirly eye boy. No. The one in the purple pleated pants.
Yeah, no. I do know this. I'm being facetious.
I was like, what?
No. Whoa, this guy keeps showing up outside the places where all the monsters are attacking.
Yeah, always.
And then antagonizing me, and then showing up for about 10 seconds.
To Deus Ex, but not even really?
He does nothing.
Did he do something in the first episode, or did I and I just missed it, or did it?
No, he just throws a rose and then tells Usagi not to cry.
And then she cries harder.
She does not listen to. She cries better and then throws her tiara.
Yeah.
This is like the meme is now famous where it's him and it's images from this first episode where he says, "Now that my work is done, I will leave." And she says, "What did you do?" And then he just leaves.
Nothing.
But she is in love with him.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry. Is it the hat? Is it the cape? I get it.
It's just a well-dressed man shows up and saves her, I'm doing finger quotes, from danger.
There's roses. Roses are always sexy. I hate roses. I hate them a lot. I think they smell gross.
Well,
I don't do a lot of rose smelling.
I've got a rose bush outside of my apartment.
Oh,
I can't help
okay.
it.
There we go.
And you keep stopping to smell the roses.
I don't. It's hot outside.
Lesson learned.
Gotta keep going.
Oh, I did have a question. Is everything he says an innuendo? Because it sounds like everything he says an innuendo, but I'm also a 33-year-old adult. So I take this with a grain
Maybe
of
that's
salt.
what Usagi is really into. Like, are you coming on to me?
Onto me?
Is this...
Because at the end, his first one, he's like, "This is a night I'll never forget." And I'm like, what did you do? Like, what do you mean this is a night you'll never forget?
I have already forgotten it. I watched it an hour ago, and I've already forgotten.
I also did. did. Oh my gosh.
I do want to reveal that Bunhead is an invention. I don't know if you all watched it with the subs on, but he does call her Dumpling Head in the original sub, and I like that a little better. I think that's more I don't know. But Bunhead is fine, I suppose. It just doesn't have that sting of like, oh, you're referring to me as food.
Yeah, because like for our context, like for a Western context, like, but I guess because like what a dumpling is in like Western culinary culture as opposed to like, there's so much different. I mean, because dumplings, I'm thinking of like chicken and dumplings. Looking at a dumpling in a soup, not the same thing. They're not perfect balls. So
I mentioned this at the top of the episode. This Morgo creature scared the hell out of me as a small child.
Oh, I can see that. She turns her head all the way around.
All the way around. First of all, how did you not know that your mama was not around? You just let this lady...
Mom got kidnapped, replaced by a monster. Mondays.
Another day.
Trying to sell
another
everything
day
in the jewelry store. No manager oversight. No, that was scary. So the monsters in general are scary. Like the actual monsters are actually kind of scary. When they drop their human forms and they look like emaciated corpses, that first one was pretty gross. I was like,
she was nasty. Yes,
they look like undead.
Yeah.
But they all fall before the Mighty Moon Tiara, regardless how nasty and undead they look.
This attack is going to work forever, I assume. Like this
surely.
This is the whole show.
Yeah. This is also the first Monster of the Week show we've tackled on this podcast. I like this format a lot. Personally, I think it's really fun to do shows like this. You know, I was a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan.
I like Monster of the Week, the tabletop game. So
there's actually a Tenchi series that goes in the Monster of the Week direction. We may or may not get around to it. It is kind of maligned. People tend to not like it, but
I think you know the
curious.
answer to that, Newland. We're going to get around to it.
Well, even I was questioning it because I remembered as a kid I didn't like it very much.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a time to revisit.
Maybe.
Perhaps adult Max has some different thoughts.
Episode 2 has a little bit more room to develop itself because they don't have to introduce so many things. I thought it was kind of neat how the monster that we're dealing with, whatever realm they're using to like influence people is kind of like the subject of the show generally. So like in the first episode, the jewelry thing is kind of in there. Like there's a jewelry sale and they go there. But the second episode, the whole second episode is all about this like fortune telling stuff. Even from the beginning, even before we were introduced to like the evil fortune teller, we open on this like street vendor who does fortune telling for people who is not involved with the evil at all.
Yeah.
And then Umino, of course, he has his like special fortune telling video game that he programmed.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was going to say something else, but we have to just talk about this now. He programmed a fortune-telling video game that told him that he and Usagi would end up together, and there's a little pixel art of them getting married.
Yeah. He took an Etch-a-Sketch and he used it to turn into a fortune teller.
Look like an Etch-a-Sketch.
It's what he did. And I like, can we talk about how Umino is like the biggest frenemy ever? Like in the first episode, he's like, it's okay that you're dumb. You'll do better next time. Although you never do better every next time that's ever happened. I've only got a 95. Not perfect. I guess I'll try harder. Although you got a 30. And now he's like, but I love you so much, Usagi. I'm like, I mean,
love
you're
you so much
14.
that I'm going to call you out, do the whole like, oh, teacher, you forgot to give us homework thing, but kind of in reverse.
Kind of a little shit.
I don't know. It was like, how are you calling her dumb in episode 1, but then you have this humongous crush on her in episode 2? Like, make a decision.
Are you trying to neg her? Not cool. I don't. This character, I'm not sure about him so far because
I don't like Umino very much.
First of all, for anyone who has not seen this character, he looks completely insane because his eyeglasses are swirls. Like he has swirly eyes.
Yeah, he looks like he just got spun around by Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, he just got spun around and or hypnotized.
Yes, in a constant state of dizziness. He is like, he's so, I also like when he becomes possessed, he just turns into gangster Umino.
He just stops giving a shit. He wears whatever he wants to school.
He's coming in a 3-piece suit, eating a corn dog or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually pretty.
No, he takes, I think it's a piece of bread out of his pocket and eats it.
It is?
That moment, for a moment, was like, okay, all right, this kid's cool now.
This guy's old. He doesn't give a shit.
And then he became an absolute gross individual, and I was like, ugh.
It turns lecherous in a bad way.
Yes. Immediately.
But the feeling of like getting yelled at by your teacher, saying nothing, and then just getting your lunch out and eating it in front of her. All right, that's
power play.
Yeah, big power move for a 14-year-old.
A true flex. Okay.
And then the other kids, like, they escalate really fast. They're like throwing rocks through the fucking window.
Yeah, this goes places.
Like,
and what happened here is they got possessed by tarot cards. They go into the fortune teller place. the villain of this episode sends a Satan card into their breast pocket.
Yeah, and makes them. What did she say that they go like and they're charmed agents or charming agents of the devil or something.
Yeah. And this is another thing of like, the first episode is very similar to the second, because in both cases they're A, stealing energy from humans, and B, turning them into like slaves or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say, as a person who has learned tarot card reading, this actually is not the most inaccurate interpretation of the devil card, because the devil card is usually has to do with like domination of the self or like imposed strictures that are divergent from what comes naturally for someone. So like that's actually pretty good. It's not on the level of like flipping over the death card and then a scare chord plays, you know. That's what I expected when I saw tarot cards.
Right.
That actually makes sense, because the fortune teller does tell him to do what he wants, essentially.
Yeah.
To let go and, you know, stop being such a nerd.
You fucking be cool for once, you know? Shit.
Oh, he takes that advice and runs with it in the wrong direction. Someone tells him to be cool. Yeah. This is the one where, so Tuxedo Mask actually does something in this episode.
Yeah.
He does, yeah. Kind
he catches a shoe with his head for starts.
Yeah, okay, that was fun. I like how she... This was a weird... Okay, there was something else.
That's how I'm making all my decisions from now on.
Yeah.
Throwing a shoe
Kicking my shoe into the air.
She calls it out saying, heads, I'll do this, tails, I'll do this. Now, I can assume heads means it lands right side up and tails is the other way, but like... I feel like I was a little confused for a moment. Like, what are you calling heads and tails? I don't know. It's funny. It's a silly little gag. I shouldn't be thinking about it that much, but I do a podcast. So
it's so good. No, I loved it.
After this, there is a cute little moment where Usagi runs into her dad, who has not been he has not been in the show up to this point.
This is our intro.
Yeah. He's a nice guy doing grocery shopping. Because he doesn't do any chores. So,
which is kind. And honestly, thanks, Dad. At least you know that you're not doing any chores, so you're helping out where you can, and where you know you probably won't get yelled at because you've been given a list, and if you deviate from the list, you know you're in trouble. So I appreciated Dad for that.
And there's a moment where she's like touched by her father's kindness, and then she starts fantasizing about Motoki and whether or not he would be a nice husband.
Yeah, because
kind of
I like how that was like the subplot, right? Like, even though like what's this? I keep wanting to call him Umami, and he's not Umami. That's food. I'm hungry. Sorry, Umino. How Umino's like, I went to a fortune teller and she told me that I was gonna, like, I made my fortune, and my fortune said I was going to like marry Usagi, and Usagi like goes to the original, like the good fortune teller, and is like, you know, with the palm reading, and he says like, you know, this boy likes you, and you see them all the time, and it was like she thought it was the Motoki guy.
Motoki.
And I thought that was cute. Yeah, the Motoki guy. And I was like, that's cute that it's that. But then she's also just falling in love with every guy she meets in this episode.
In the original dub, his name is Andrew.
Come
if that makes things easier.
Dude. Really?
Sorry, it's me, Andrew.
He's got a pretty Andrew face. I mean, that's fair.
The guy who is Tuxedo Mask, I know his name in the original dub was Darien. But that's the only one I can pull right now is Darien and Serena.
Darien. Ew. He's got strong Darien vibes.
That guy's a real Darien.
He is.
One thing I wanted to mention, like I wanted to make sure we touched on, was that like I think it's really, really funny when Queen Beryl is like sitting in her evil chair with her evil crystal ball. The like hench people that surround her they feel so like uncommitted in the voice acting because she's like, "Have you found the silver crystal?" And they all in unison go like, "No." And then and she says like, "Go and do your evil whatever," and they're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
There's just very low energy, those folks.
They just, that's what happens when you suck the life out of people and then you try to turn them into your lackeys. They have nothing to give you. It's like, yes, henchmen, give us nothing.
Give those henchmen a pizza party. They need a little bit of enthusiasm in their lives.
They can have a little bit of collateral damage as a treat.
No health care, though. Sorry.
None.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how much better things could be for them? Maybe if they had like a decent 401k, insurance and all that, then maybe they wouldn't get killed by having a hat thrown at them.
They should unionize.
We don't need another yoga class.
No, they should unionize. I'm just telling you. She doesn't actually need to sit in that anglerfish chair. Like, that's a throne of nightmares.
Where's that anime?
Look what unionization did for the Minions. I mean, they're like, well known throughout the world now.
Absolutely. One of them's got their own movie.
Did you guys know that the Minions have names?
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I the only person in the world who did not know this?
The most recent Minions movie is about one named Gru. Gru, right?
No, he's the villain that they serve.
That's Steve Carell, yeah.
But I know that there's one named Kevin. That's all I know.
Yes, I did know that one of them is named Kevin. I did know that one.
I was floored by this knowledge because
what the fuck? They didn't have names, Max?
Well, what the fuck? They're like animate Twinkies. What do they need names for?
Newland, come on. You've seen the Venture Brothers. You know that they've got names. Everybody's henchman has names now. The Venture Brothers set this precedent.
I'm over it. I'm moving beyond it. The Minions have names, and I have to accept that this is
We'll do
normal.
a Minions episode later.
These Minions, speaking of names, I think it's really funny that the monster in the second episode, we don't learn her name until she's already dead, and it is said exactly once.
Yeah.
What was the name?
What is it?
It's Bam, B-A-M.
Oh, because...
Like Bam Margera.
Because...
I'm Jadeite, and welcome to Jackass.
No!
I can't wait for the shot of Usagi throwing her tiara at a dumpster.
I'm crying. Tears. Oh.
I think of Steve-O getting shot out of a cannon screaming moon prison powers makeup.
Oh no! I can't see.
I think
the good stuff.
I think any single Jackass sketch would really be empowered by a transformation sequence.
Oh yeah.
I'm so upset.
I always these episodes of this podcast always go weird places, but I did not. Jackass Sailor Moon edition was not really on the notes. I feel like heading into this.
Oh my god, my face hurts.
We land where we land. You just let the dice
true.
roll.
It's true.
Look, we used to be on an improv team. We go anywhere, man.
Mm-hmm. This is we're very good at yes and at Afterschool Anime Club.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, and let's watch more anime.
Absolutely. I also like my favorite thing about Luna in episode 2, just like being the cattest of cats. Like Luna just appearing at the arcade and being like nomming on Usagi's sleeve to be like, you gotta go. You've got things to do. And then Dad later being like, there's a cat. It's like, sir, you didn't realize you got adopted by a cat, but news for you, sir.
Mm-hmm. He's kind of mean about it too. He's like, what's that cat doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, it's a cat. Like, let
Dad,
the cat.
It's just a cat.
That's what cats do.
Right. I loved it.
You didn't have to pay for it, so great.
Right. It's
free
just
cat.
there.
Also, is the moon spot on Luna's forehead actually a bald spot in the shape of a moon? That is what Usagi calls it, a bald spot. And that makes the entire cat not as cool to me.
I think it's just a running. I think it's just a running gag. No, I think it's just a running gag. I think it's supposed to be. Isn't it supposed to be just like an insignia, like on Luna's head?
It's like a sticker.
Not a sticker.
Sorry.
That was a real question.
I mean, why couldn't it be a sticker,
Why not? Why not a sticker?
I'm sitting on some critical Luna knowledge that I don't want to, because I have another episode of Band for Life cooking up on the back burner right now, and I want to save this critical Luna knowledge for that. But I'm just giving you a warning.
Oh, no. Luna's going to be nothing but ABBA songs. Watch.
My favorite game is coming back. Prepare yourselves.
In a horrible way, it's also my favorite game, so it's fine. I do. I also like at the end of episode 2, Umino learned nothing. He went to make himself a pariah, and then Usagi excused him. He went, oh, okay, well, maybe I should just care about nothing like you, and then walks off. I'm like, great. There went the lesson.
The only line that I circled to remember from either of these episodes was Umino's final piece of dialogue from episode 2, which is all my life is despair, after he learns about his horrible behavior. And I just thought that, man, that is heavy. That's heavy shit for a 14-year-old.
Right. But then immediately he perks up when everyone was like, well, when Usagi was like, all's forgiven, don't worry about it. And I was like, no, worry about it.
Never mind all of the other people he wronged.
Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely harassed your teacher yesterday. I'm going to need you to sit on that, sir.
Yeah, you should probably apologize to her as well.
100%.
Yeah, that doesn't not get resolved.
Not at all. Not at all. No justice for the teacher, which is not cool, because she seems like she's pretty cool.
Justice for Miss Haruna, honestly.
Yeah, justice for Miss Haruna all the time. It was horrid. Also, a thing that I noted that it's like it's gonna be in these episodes all of the time, but the fashion. One, it's making a resurgence in like actual fashion today. But I was like, I see it, and this is great. I love it. I mean, Tuxedo Mask's outfit. I also like how she tried to insult his pants, and I was like, Usagi, no. His purple pleated pants are in fact kind of cool dope. Now, yeah. So like, purple pleated pants, black shoes, black turtleneck, black shades, green jacket, kind of cool. Not bad.
He's on his way to a music video.
Unfortunately, that is Joker colors.
What you just described.
You cursed me immediately.
I'm sorry.
I did not put it together until right now. I'm cursed.
I'm sorry, but that's Joker colors.
They say every piece of fiction has a Joker. Is Tuxedo Mask Sailor Moon's Joker? Now that's a rule I just made up, but we'll see it evolve as we go through. I do think that Tuxedo Mask is Sailor Moon's Joker.
Joaquin Phoenix, get out of my anime.
Fucking Sailor Moon.
Man, it's fun.
It's
like
a really
it.
fun
I like
TV show.
all the music.
I was watching this laughing.
Really, she's so relatable. Oh, I was cracking
I love this.
I was cracking the fuck up. Oh my god.
I 100%, and I think bringing us a little bit full circle here back to the relatedness of Usagi as a character. I think this is pretty monumental from my perspective of like this era having a girl character that kicks this much ass and also is this relatable.
Yeah.
Right. She kicks ass and she also
I love
cries.
Usagi.
Yeah, I do. I love Usagi because it's like I
want to see her win.
She doesn't stop being a 14-year-old just because she has superpowers. She's just a superpowered 14-year-old who doesn't really know what the fuck she's doing, but she's doing her best. I think that's why she's so relatable now.
And on top of that, the things that again, I mentioned this earlier, but like the things that she sees in herself and thinks of as weaknesses, like reflecting those back so that they can become strengths is I just really like that as a writing tactic. Proving that your character, like
100%.
There are ways she needs to, there are things that she feels compelled to change, but also there are things that are like core to her personality that, she only sees as weaknesses because she hasn't been in the right situation. For them to be revealed as the strengths that they are.
Right.
I'm not expecting like a moment where her not studying enough is going to help her win a fight. Who knows? Maybe. But
she's too stupid to be felled by the math demon.
I did write crying girls repel the devil. So I mean, like,
yeah,
she's nailing it. I'm telling you. She's doing great. Yeah, I like that about her. I like that she is like, she still has strengths even though she's like normal. You know,
just a kid.
She still has strength. She doesn't have to be somebody amazing or whatever, like all this stuff. Like, she feels the pressure of having to be a magical girl with this new responsibility, but that doesn't make her like a person that other people can't see themselves in, which I think is great.
Great show for kids. Great messages. Really fun animation. I want to say this is an interesting departure in visual style as well, given this is our first anime based on a shoujo manga. This was produced in the same year as Tenchi Muyo, so so we're not dealing with this is not like, compared to all the other stuff we're watching, this isn't like a thing out of time. This is a contemporary, and it has a very strikingly unique visual style compared to both of what we have watched so far.
What I will say is very interesting here, Newland, on that note, is if you haven't done so, go take a look at the first volume of Sailor Moon, the manga, which has recently been readapted into, I think it's Sailor Moon Crystal. Like, they sort of redid the anime.
I want to watch that now.
And a little bit more faithful to the manga. The art style there's not a one-to-one there. This is still more anime style of the time than the manga itself.
Interesting.
But those differences, I think, are still there.
Okay, that's cool. I will check that out. Yeah.
Do you have any more notes about these first two episodes?
I love the colors. I love the music. Like, I've never wanted, I've always wanted to go to Japan, but I'm like, oh no, 90s Tokyo? Is that what this is supposed to be? Because it's really, really cute. So that's my biggest thing. I'm very excited to see the rest of it. I do like the Monster of the Week format. I'm very much used to animes with through lines and have long arcs over an entire season, but I'm here for the episodic format of it, where there's things that are still callbacks to previous episodes to kind of keep things moving forward, but it's still kind of episodic where they will have enough exposition for you to not feel lost if you skipped an episode or so. I like that about it, but I'm a big fan to see what other powers she has. They're just no, I don't think that one's gonna work.
Yeah, let's try this one out.
Yeah, I want to see superpower bingo. It's going to come out of Sailor Moon.
I'm also really interested to see, because I've seen one of the cultural impacts of Sailor Moon has been the weird villains that get thrown in along the way. I have seen and heard of some before where it's okay, well, with this Monster of the Week format, we do have to keep things fresh, so this one's a car or whatever. I mean,
I'm telling you, Kostract, if we don't get a car villain,
I don't remember.
Watch that be the next fucking episode.
I think that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Cool. Well, hey, Sailor Moon so far, tons of fun. And I hope you enjoyed it too. Next week, we're going to watch the next two episodes 3 and 4. I think I'll post the link in our personal Discord here for the that Internet Archive link so that we can check out that original Deke dub. I just would love to see how different it is. I assume it's not going to be quite as fun, but we might find hidden gems.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think so.
Well, that bell means that this week's meeting of the Afterschool Anime Club has come to a close. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you, and if you'd like to follow us online, you can at Anime Club Pod. Hey, we're on Tumblr and TikTok now too, at Afterschool Anime Club on both platforms. I'm on Twitter at MaxNewland_. Mr. Kostrak, where can people find you?
I already said it this episode, but you can find me on Twitter. It's at Max_attacks. That's safety dog. Come say hi.
And how about you, Stevie?
I can be found on Twitter and Instagram under the handle A Smattering on both platforms.
I have 2 reviews to read.
What?
First one comes in from a dear friend who unfortunately was unable to access her iTunes account. I could not leave it on there. But Brienne writes, there are those who watch anime and there are those who watched anime when it hit Toonami, and sometimes those old Toonami anime bumps strike us when we least expect, leaving us with a seemingly insatiable hunger to relive the long-gone feelings of being a preteen weeb in front of the living room CRT. Afterschool Anime Club makes me feel this way. This time, however, my sappy nostalgia is want for company. Stevie and the Maxes have great chemistry with each other. Aw, shucks. They grind up their own nostalgia and experience, filter through thoughtful perspectives, and pour over with charisma to brew up a truly refreshing take on these old shows. Seriously, though, I have a hard time keeping my eyes focused on my hands while mailing for hours. Y'all really are wonderful at keeping my mind's eye engaged. Thank you, Afterschool Anime Club. Y'all are so fun.
Oh my God, thank you.
What a lovely review.
I'm touched.
That was so nice.
Marn leaves a comment that says, Afterschool Anime Club is bangers only. This is one of the best discussion and recap shows I've listened to. The hosts have great chemistry, and the different games thrown into the mix keep things feeling fresh and exciting. The recaps are excellent and thorough, and the commentary makes me laugh. Great show all around.
Nice. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. If you'd like your words to be read, you should leave us a rating on Apple Podcast or your podcast platform of choice. Give us a 5-star review. Don't put any chicken-headed shit in there, and you'll hear it coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Simple. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. And, of course, as always, we're so glad we got to spend this time with you. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you at the next meeting.